Hello everyone, welcome back to my lecture series on Hindu law, and we are discussing about marriage and kinship. And in this video, we are going to talk about void and voidable marriages. Okay, which is a part of section 11 and section 12 of Hindu Marriage Act. The entire series of my Hindu law lecture series is based on the textbook titled Hindu Law written by Dr. Rakesh Ainapur, which is available on uh, which is available on Amazon, Flipkart, and then Vision Bookstore. You can also download from Google Play Store and Amazon Kindle. So far, in unit 2 on Hindu marriages or marriage and kinship, we discussed introduction to marriage and kinship, evolution of institution of marriages and family in Indian context, laws which were there prior to Hindu law, and then valid conditions for Hindu marriages and overview of Hindu Marriage Act. And we are discussing matrimonial remedies. We already covered restitution of conjugal rights and judicial separations. And in this video, we are going to discuss about void, void and voidable marriages. So here is a brief overview of Hindu Marriage Act, where key sections are Hindu marriages, validity of Hindu marriage, and then the valid conditions for Hindu marriages, and then registration of Hindu marriages are dealt in section 5 to 8. And then we, in the last two videos, we covered restitution of conjugal rights and judicial separation topic. And now we are talking about section 11 and 12, which deals with void and voidable marriages, and the other topics, divorce, maintenance, alimony, etc. we will discuss in subsequent videos. Okay, so today's topic is on void and voidable marriages, which are part of section 11 and section 12. Just a recap, as we discussed in section 5 and section 5 of Hindu Marriage Act. There are section 5 and section 7 of Hindu Marriage Act. There are preconditions for essential conditions for legality of a Hindu marriages. The first one is a monogamy, and the second one is prohibited relationship. So certain degree of relationships, the marriages between blood relations are not allowed. And also not related to a sapinda, which is nothing but the same ancestral for 5 to 7 generations. The marriage is not allowed, but there are some exceptions to it. All these things we discussed during our section 5 to section 8 discussion in earlier video, and those are our valid marriages. If any of these conditions are failed, then that marriage is called as void marriage. Void marriage means the marriage will not be having any effect in the eyes of law. So if any of the conditions are not met, then it will be called as a void marriage, and the nullity of this nullity of this marriage decree should be taken from the court to avoid any future complexities. But only one important aspect here is, even though it is a void marriage, if any children is born out of this void marriage, will be considered as legitimate children. So void marriages, very simple. If any of the conditions which are mentioned in the earlier section 5 to 7 are not maintained, then the marriage is called as void marriages. But only condition here is, if any children is born out of these void marriages, are considered as legitimate children. Then question comes, what is voidable marriages? So the voidable marriages is very simple, where the decision whether it is a valid marriage is depends on one party here. Okay, for example, there is a fraud happening and the marriage took place, husband and wife again. Okay, there is some fraud. By fraud, husband convinced the wife for a marriage, like a person convinced the woman to get married. Husband says he's in a good job or some huge salary or whatever, or some health conditions is hidden it. With some fraud way, husband, like a person marries to a woman. In this case, aggrieved party is a woman here again. So woman can file a case for cancelling this marriage. If woman is not filing the case, then the marriage become valid. Okay, it is at the discretion of one party or an aggrieved party. Marriage can turn into a valid, otherwise it will become nullified. Okay, nullity of marriage. So what are the grounds? Okay, the voidable marriages, impotency. If one of the party who cannot consummating, or okay, in those cases, the aggrieved party can go for nullity of the marriage, making marriage as invalid. If the aggrieved party stays silent, then marriage is valid. Again, the unsoundness of mind. If one party is mind is not correct, the aggrieved party can go for it. Otherwise, he can compensate and continue for living. At the same time, if there was a use of a force, fraud or coercion was taken, consent was taken by fraud or a force or some other illegal means, in that case, again the decision depends on the aggrieved party. So, and then there was a pregnancy by someone during the at the time of marriage. At the time of marriage, if she was pregnant from other party, all these are the grounds where the aggrieved party can go and seek for nullifying the marriage. Otherwise, if there is no action taken by the aggrieved party, marriage is considered as valid. So the validity of marriages under voidable marriage depends on aggrieved party's decision. Okay, but in case of void marriages, it is completely void from the beginning, void ab initio. Let's see a quick difference between valid marriages, void marriages and voidable marriages. In the eyes of law, this marriage does not exist at all. If the valid conditions are not fulfilled, this marriage is not, if a marriage does not exist in the eyes of law. In the case of voidable marriage, this marriage is exist. It is as good as valid marriage till the time if any aggrieved party challenges under section 12. The conditions, whatever we saw in section 12, based on that, if aggrieved party approach to a court, then only the validity will be questioned. Otherwise, the valid marriages are valid in case of voidable marriage. In case of void marriage, court directly passes the nullity order because the marriage itself is a void. In this case, voidable marriages case, the court take into account necessary conditions. It checks and it listens both the parties and then take a decision. In case of void marriages, as the marriage is not exist in the eyes of law, the other party can marry without getting the nullity order from the court. Okay, there is no need of any getting any nullity order from the court because the marriage itself is void from the beginning. Here, parties cannot do so in a voidable marriage case, so they should go to a court and get the nullity order, and then they can go for a remarriage. Under CRPC, there is a maintenance section under section 125 of CRPC, earlier CRPC. So this wife cannot claim, but wife can claim maintenance under CRPC. Under void marriages are void ab initio. From the day one itself, it is void. There is nothing nullity just to take a confirmation from the court, but these are void from the beginning. Voidable marriages are at the beginning valid until somebody is until some competent court annuls it or cancels it. In the case of void marriage, parties are liable for criminal liability, but in the case of voidable marriage, the penalty may be charged. These are the key difference between void and voidable marriages. Very small section. Section 11 deals with void marriages. Section 12 deals with voidable marriages. So void marriage is nullified, like it is not exist at the eyes of law from the beginning itself, but voidable marriages are valid marriages till the time someone is questioned, the aggrieved party questions it. Here are two case studies on void and voidable marriages. First case is a Lily Thomas versus Union of India. In this case, the second marriage was conducted before the other second marriage was conducted for by converting to the other religion. So this was the decision was given that that kind of conversion is void and the marriage is void. And the second one is Balaswamy Reddiyar versus Balakrishna Reddiyar. They also said the one of the critical condition is rituals of the marriages are also one of the critical conditions for valid marriages. Thank you, guys. That's it on void and voidable marriages. Thank you so much for listening to me. I request you to subscribe my channel and also share it with your friends. Write your comments if you have any questions. I will happy to answer those comments. Thank you so much.